Despite a good day on Wall Street today, this recent turbulence in the economy has raised questions about whether the U.S. is ultimately heading for a recession.
Yeah, our NBC 10 consumer investigative reporter Bianca Beltran spoke with the head of an organization in Cambridge tasked with determining when the U.S. has entered a recession about the challenges that come with making that call.
So, Bianca, this is a cartoon that was commissioned.
A cartoon hanging outside of Jim Poterba's office helps explain what he does at the National Bureau of Economic Research in Cambridge.
The caption is, to the person who's standing looking at the two, do you want to know the future or the past? And it's sort of a reference to the fact that the NBER Business Cycle Dating Committee is really concerned primarily with describing what happened in the past, so that when someone is interested in knowing, are we in a recession today or this week, the NBER sadly is not typically very much help.
That's because while the NBER committee determines when a recession happens in the U.S. economy, that call can lag for months.
We use the notion that it's a period of substantial economic decline lasting for a protracted period and spread across the economy. And of course, sometimes the economy and the economic data don't cooperate in trying to apply that definition very easily.
The committee works to identify the peaks or high points and the troughs or low points in economic activity. The period between a peak and a trough is a recession.
One pattern that we look at, for example, is how does the economy recover?
Poterba says their research could be applied to discussions about the size of government stimulus programs or extending unemployment insurance benefits.
What does it mean to you to review data that reflects some of the most difficult times in our history?
Those are the aggregates of individual experiences. They tell us about families' incomes. They tell us about whether people have jobs. And that's one of the things that drew me to economics as a field, was understanding that providing data-driven and guidance on how to design various policies can really matter for households throughout the economy. So these are not just numbers. There are people behind every one of those numbers that we look at, and it's important to keep that in mind.
Jim Poterba said even when the economy is in recovery, it can still feel bad as it climbs out of a downturn. Some steps that you can take to prepare your finances for a possible recession include making a plan now to build or add to your emergency savings. It's recommended to have enough funds to cover at least 3 to 6 months of basic expenses. Another tip, focus on paying off high interest debt. In the studio, I'm Bianca Beltran, NBC 10 Boston.